Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's like StarCraft 2 players, like just spam keys to keep their hands warm.
Just spam for APM.
Yeah.
To show off. Yeah.
I've got big, stupid freaking hands, you know, so
Yeah.
I was not made for that kind of thing.
For what, spamming keys or typing in general?
I'm actually pretty decent at typing, but not like spamming keys a million times. Like, I spend too much of my time with my fingertips, like, curled up, like, either, like, pulling people towards me or, like, in fist punching or whatever. I don't do the whole, like, fluttery finger thing very well.
See, like, my thing is, like, I have, like, wide hands, so I have to, like, put my keybinds, like, all across the keyboard.
Right.
So even if I have, like, a series of abilities I'm going to use, I have to put them, like, 5 keys over on each one, so...
It makes sense, I guess. I mean, I don't know. I do. But in any case,
Oh, and just FYI about my character, he is going to be fairly chaotic, and it is in his nature to cause strife and destruction in his wake. So just have fun with that.
Yeah, I mean, there's not going to be any negative repercussions from that. It's going to be all smooth sailing.
Thank you for understanding.
You know, I got you, fam. Speaking of which, you need to join the game because it is 7. Stream has started.
Am I joining? Roll20?
I mean,
Yeah,
if you intend on playing.
I didn't realize it was 8 o'clock. My bad.
Yeah.
One like minor request, just kind of putting it out there. It would be really cool if we could see what the numbers are, because I am constantly forgetting what's 4, what's 3. Ah, shit, I can't remember the numbers. I don't know why they didn't label it, because the starter set they labeled
okay,
rather than just like the numbers. Like, I don't know what 15 is.
Oh god, I can do this, but it'll take me a little while.
You have, I mean, you do have the copy of.
I have the PDF. My solution to this, my solution to this right now is either to give you guys a handout or to just put it on the map itself.
Yeah, either way. I'm not saying you do it right now, but I'm just saying, like,
that
would be
helpful. That's actually a minor thing.
Do I need to change my shade to green?
What?
Everybody's color is green on Roll20.
Who's green?
And mine's yellow. Yours is purple to me. Daniel's.
Caroline, you were the one that demanded that I stay green.
Yes, but now everybody is green.
I'm not even going to enter the color conversation.
We got like a forest green, a regular green, and like a seafoam.
Oh, okay.
What the fuck is seafoam?
Seafoam?
What?
Have you ever been to the ocean?
Yeah.
It's
I mean,
like
like
an aqua green.
Man, I can't
But
even
in
tell
like
green
paint
from
colors,
blue.
they always
so-
say seafoam green, but it's really like a lighter.
Yeah, I've got a little bit of red-green color blindness, so.
Man, blue and green look the exact same to me. But...
So I guess
Is there an owl in our party?
you may have seen an owl on occasion around Riven. Yes.
Oh. Pretty. Why is everybody wearing hoods? Oh no, just 2 people are wearing hoods. Never mind.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so
Identify.
after a long day of travel, you all arrive in Red Larch. The dust of the road caking your clothing and sticking to your mouths and throats. Perhaps you should seek out a place to clean yourself up or have a refreshing beverage and meal. Or not, you just stand in the middle of the street. It's up to you.
What time is it?
Time of day? Let's say it's around noon.
So there are probably people around, right?
Sure. Let me just go ahead and take you guys to a new thing I have for you.
Ooh,
Ooh, baby.
Ooh, and it's
Ooh,
actually
baby.
right side up.
nice.
No way.
Ooh, baby. Yeah, so
Do you see how much you can do with just a little bit of effort, Byron?
just a little.
Wow. Arch.
This map had like 50 different like locations on it that you're not supposed to be able to see.
Yeah.
Oh,
Did you get the? Because the other one, the starter set had 2 versions. You could
It
get
what?
one
It
with
does?
what?
Oh.
The starter one had like 2 versions.
I don't
One
know.
with one for the DM, one for the players.
No, even the players one, as far as I know, had like all that stuff on it. You can buy a copy from the original artist who took all the stuff
Yeah.
off or whatever, or who just saved a copy. Anyways, yeah. Just a little bit of effort. I'm gonna fucking punch you in the face. But yeah, so you guys probably traveled down from Westbridge or whatever. However you decided to get here. You are now in Red Larch. So now I'll take you back to the Red Larch map.
So yeah, there are just some people about, right?
Yeah, there's people wandering around. Not many, since it's, you know, a farming and, well, an
Yeah.
agricultural and stone mining community.
I'm just gonna grab the nearest person. Excuse me.
Okay. It is a young woman, probably in her mid-20s. She looks up at you, and her eyes get a little bit wider, and she says, "Oh my goodness. Yes, what can I do? What can I do to help you?"
I'm looking for a woman by the name of Halia.
Oh, of course. You must be so tired from your trip, and you no offense, you look like you could use a bath. So,
It has been a long way, and I would appreciate the chance to get some of this dust off.
yes, if you just head north along this same road that we're on right now, and then Halia's will be one of the last establishments on the left. And is there anything else I can do for you while you're here?
Aye, where's the tavern?
Oh, it's just across the road, just here, and she points to the northeast, just up there. It's the Helm at High Sun, the best tavern for many miles around.
My thanks, lass.
Quill, I'm going to go and talk to Halia if you find us some lodgings.
She
And
nods.
raise an eyebrow.
I'm going to the bar.
Okay, perfect. The best way to start a new session is like, everybody go your separate ways immediately.
Because we know Byron loves it when we do that.
It's the very best thing. Okay, well,
I'll go to the bar as well.
yeah, the first place that you guys would be arriving would be at the bar. So you'd be arriving at the Helm at High Sun. As
That's
you
this one.
Yeah. As you look inside the door, you hear a fair amount of noise. It's pretty busy. People are taking their noonday meal. So there are both stonemasons, quarry laborers, some of the hunters and lumberjacks from around the countryside surrounding Red Larch, as well as some of the proprietors of businesses within Red Larch itself.
So what time was it again?
Noon.
I'm just gonna go sit down at one of the tables and order a drink.
Okay.
Some stout ale.
Some stout ale. Okay. Good.
I get up and I like look for the latrines.
Yeah, they're out back.
Something out back.
Sure. So the bartender behind the bar walks up to Derek and he's like, "Looks like you're new in town. Can I get you something to wet your whistle?" Question mark. Dwarf. Daniel.
Sorry. Yeah. Give me the strongest ale you have.
Well, lucky for you, we have a barrel of the finest of the Battlebeard's Dwarven Ale. Would that suffice?
My man.
Yeah, we just had an Omnian merchant passing through town with several casks. He'd only let us purchase one. He mentioned he was heading north to some druidic retreats to attempt to sell them his wares and for holy purposes or some such. I'm not entirely certain what his business was, but he'd only sell us the one.
You're telling me that they're wasting good dwarven ale on tree hugger rituals?
That's what I'm saying. Trust me, I tried to offer him a fair price, but he wouldn't take my money for it.
Well, bring me 2 pints of that delicious ale.
Okay. So he goes back and he draws 2 large pint mugs from a single keg behind the bar and brings them to you before going off to serve another of his patrons. What about you, Michael?
Going to the bathroom.
Going to piss. All right. So yeah, go outside. There's a series of outhouses behind the bar that appear to be well used, but also fairly well maintained. It's not the worst bar you've ever been to.
And so as I'm walking out, I'm just kind of scoping out the kitchen if it's nearby the exit. Just kind of getting an idea of what kind of just looking at my surroundings.
Sure. Yeah, there is an outdoor kitchen, or at least partially outdoor kitchen.
Partially outdoor
Yeah.
kitchen.
And you see several scullery maids, as well as a fat and balding, appears to be a Tetherian human cook, who's making several, he's tending to several spits. They're roasting over the open coals outside, as well as a few bubbling pots.
Okay. I use the latrine and walk back inside and order some wine.
Okay.
Maybe some spirits if they have them. Some finer liquor.
Okay.
Brandy or something.
Sure. They'll bring you, are you going to buy a bottle, or are you going to buy it by the glass? Or by the serving, I should say.
I have to taste it first.
I mean, it's acceptable quality. It's not outstanding.
I'll just have the glass for now then.
Okay. All right, and Quill was supposed
just-
to be going and securing lodgings at this time.
Basically means going out to the edge of town, looking for the nearest clump of trees and setting up camp.
Okay, I mean, your best bet would probably be heading. This is a north-south map, right? Yeah, heading west along the Keldell path. There's a little pond out there, along with a grove of trees. That looks like it'd be perfect for a little camp.
Sweet.
Basically, this.
Then that's basically would doing that for a few hours, setting up, gathering stuff.
Okay, and Meliandra.
Mel. You can just call her Mel. Yeah.
I will. Yeah. So you're heading north along the street to see about.
To the bathhouse.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, so as you walk to north, you notice very few actual townsfolk on the streets. They all appear to be either about their business or outside of town, attending to whatever it is they do on a day-to-day basis.
I'm just keeping my eye out for the bathhouse.
Okay, yeah, you see it. It's at Area 15 right here. The front appears to be a well-appointed dress shop and boutique that actually displays some extremely current fashions from Waterdeep and Neverwinter.
Okay.
As well, and then through the boutique itself, you see that there is a single desk in a back room, and then beyond that, you can hear the sound of women's laughter and the aromatic scent of perfumed oils and steam wafting out.
I'll head in and
Okay.
I'll address whoever the owner is. I assume Halia.
Yeah, so there is a young-looking but competent woman sitting behind the desk. She is dressed in colorful clothing that heralds her Omnian descent. And she looks up at you and then gives you a once-over, and she says, "What brings one of the forest folk into town?"
Two things. Well, three really, but first, as you can see, and looks down at the dusty attire and the worn-out appearance, I'm quite in need of a bath. And secondly, I have other business of the emerald variety to attend to.
Oh, and how do you intend on paying for this business?
Well, I take out of my little satchel some money.
She just like nods her head at you and she says, No, it's those of us who have concerns or attachments to that particular color generally do not pay in physical ways. We pay in allegiances. We pay in respect.
I understand. I was thinking more for the bath.
Oh, of course, no. For your patron, or I'm sorry, your matron has warned me of your coming and has informed me that I should provide whatever assistance you require within reason.
Understandable. Perhaps we should meet after business hours and we can have more of a discussion when we have privacy.
Oh, certainly. That will set all the tongues a-wag in town. The beautiful stranger and the bathhouse mistress meeting after dark.
Well, I am quite the fan of gossip, as I'm sure you're aware.
Of course. And she hands you a carved wooden token that should get you access to the bathhouse and all the facilities therein. Which is, I suppose I shall see you later on tonight then.
Yes.
And then she stands up from my desk and goes and begins to wait on some of the well-dressed, noble women who just came in the door.
Okay. I guess I'll head back out. I figure the other two are going to the tavern, so I'll go and join them.
Okay.
I think Riven would first ask, gotta get the name down, Darak.
Yep, direct.
Darak. If he feels like playing some cards.
What game are you trying to
I still start dealing a game and make as extravagant of a show of it as possible, trying to like just subtly get other people interested, and I just start showing them how to play some kind of a common game like poker for the region. Just getting a game going, maybe blackjack, something like that.
I would love to play cards. Yeah, he would totally be playing cards while he's drinking his dwarven ale.
Okay. After a couple hands, you start to gather a crowd around you. As you said, you were going to play a game that's common to the area or uncommon to the area.
Let's go with common.
Okay.
Something that people would know how to play. I wouldn't have to explain it to them. Something they'd be comfortable with.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, a couple of the caravan guards and drovers gather around and they ask if they can join you in the game.
Yeah, as long as you're okay betting. Sound like a good idea? Like a good deal?
They just look at each other and
right?
laugh, and they're like,
Darak?
we've got a pretty good
Sounds
grasp
good.
of this game.
Okay.
Yeah, so let's sit down and they'll start playing with you.
Yeah, let's go. It's fun. Love getting good games going. Good big games of this game. Yeah, let's go.
Yeah. So yeah, when Mel comes back into the tavern, she sees that Darak and Riven are hustling a bunch of caravan guards, basically.
Well,
Evening.
actually, I'm hustling. I don't know what Darak's.
Yeah.
Afternoon, boys.
I've probably been cheating and beating him
He'll be
too.
in.
What'd you say? I didn't hear you.
Mel comes over, puts a hand on one of the guard's shoulders. Afternoon, boys. Care to deal me in?
Yeah, they immediately make
game.
room for her to
game,
join
Mel.
them at the table.
Mel is actually proficient with cards, so...
Yeah, I mean they when you say the next game, they there's an uproar. It's like no, the beautiful woman joining our game. Are you blind or crazy?
All right, I suppose. I mean, it's not really by the book. That's fine.
Yeah, so like I said, they make room. One of them stands up so you can take his chair.
I sit down and I play, and like I said, Mel is proficient with cards.
Boom.
So. Noble background. Good work.
Probably by the time they go through a few rounds, Quill is finished setting up and probably heads back into town and assumes everyone's still at the tavern. But when she walks in and sees the scene, she pretty much just stands by the door and leans up against the wall and doesn't do anything.
Yeah, so you guys, what's your approach? What exactly are you trying to accomplish by this game? Or are you just trying to play a game of poker for a while?
Well, Mel is the distraction.
I'm cheating. I'm sleight of handing cards left and right, and so I can roll that. That's how I'm not particularly adept at the game. I'm just replacing the good cards with the bad cards and stuff.
Better hook your boy up too. Is all I'm saying.
I'm sort of trying to deal us all decent cards so that we all come out ahead, but so that it doesn't. We're not trying to make it too obvious here. If we all of a sudden won 15 games in a row, they'd be up in an uproar. But I expect it might get somebody upset. Hopefully, I don't roll badly on my sleight of hand check.
Yeah, after a couple games, the dwarves, but the
Nice.
caravan guards appear to be quite intoxicated, having just come off of essentially a 3-week journey from or around the entire northern region. And you guys gather this information as you are playing cards and generally having a good time. So essentially, over the course of like the hour or two you guys are playing, the guards get drunker and drunker, and then one of them says, "Oh yeah, we just got in from Beliard, and they say that the last place anyone saw those dwarves from Mirabar, they were heading south."
Right here, dwarves from Mirabar. I'm gonna stop playing almost immediately and go see what's going on.
Well, isn't it the people you're playing cards
I
with?
think it's
that are
one of the
saying
people we're playing with.
Yeah.
Oh, is it?
One
Oh,
of our
okay.
off-turn.
All right. Well, okay. Well, I'm definitely gonna ask him what he means by dwarves from Mirabar.
The dwarven delegation, there was some important dwarf and a couple other ones, and they went missing. It's a big mystery. No one knows where they are. I might go look for them myself once I get done taking your money.
You're funny.
That's a really good joke there, friend. But how about you keep on talking about these dwarves while I keep on taking your money, sir?
He just claps you on the back heartily. He's like, "That's what I like to see. A dwarf with a sense of humor."
Aye, friend.
Oh yeah, and I mean he's been losing money hand over fist to you guys, but he's in the way that all gamblers are certain. He is certain he's going to make his money back.
You tell me.
Yes. I'm sure the next hand will be just your lucky one, eh?
Spot on, Elfie. Spot on.
Yeah.
During this conversation, Quill's kind of been not necessarily inching kind of closer. She at this point isn't just standing; she's sitting at a nearby table and probably had ordered a glass of whatever.
A glass of whatever.
Just
Carolyn, you're such a babby. You're like, I'm gonna order a glass of alcohol.
Give me your best alcohol.
Yeah. Give me your finest alcoholic beverage.
I'm pretty sure by whatever she means, like a wine cooler.
Yeah, she's gonna get a Mike's Hard Lemonade.
Yeah.
She's gonna get a Zima.
But anyway, she doesn't really try to cut into the conversation, but she kind of hopefully she situated herself so she could be able to make eye contact with Mel, and she probably kind of made a face of some sort that signaled that she would like her to kind of dig deeper about the information with the Dwarven caravan or delegation.
Oh!
I notice you there, and I'm like, Quill, join the game. Get over here. Come on, sit down.
Being put on the spot, she kind of looks very hesitant, but sits down.
Alright, come make some money, lass.
Yeah, you notice that none of the guys get up and move for you.
Yeah, well.
Oh, wow.
I'm sat there. I sort of shuffle myself over, and Quill pulls over a chair.
Okay.
It's like,
Yep.
So boys, delegation's going missing, eh? Sounds concerning. Any danger to travelers like us?
Oh, the caravan guard just nudges you with his elbow. He's like, "If there wasn't danger, then we'd be out of a job, wouldn't we?" Oh, but yeah, things been getting pretty bad around here. You need a strong man to keep you safe. If you do, let me know. I'm for hire. I don't always take
I look him up
coin.
and down, and I say,
Always take coin. What?
He says, "I'm for hire, and I don't always take coin."
"You do certainly look strong, and I think we might be able to make some sort of deal." And then I wink.
Okay, can I throw this out there? I really don't want any woman on man sexual encounters, please. Please don't do that to me.
Daniel, I mean,
Just because you said that.
the Supreme Court has upheld the right for me and Patty to have whatever kind of love we want.
That's true. That's
Love
true.
wins.
Never mind.
Love wins, Daniel.
That's
All
right.
right. Okay.
Love finds a way.
And you said the caravan went missing south of here?
South of Beliar. That's to the northeast of here. About I don't know, 5 days travel almost.
A long way it seems. I don't suppose any of you big strapping lads happen to know where Golden Fields is? Well,
Golden Fields. That's way to the south. I mean, why'd you want to go there for? Well, they're a bunch of flower-kissing druids.
Here to that. You're
A
here.
friend of mine's down there.
Mm.
I was hoping to catch up with her, but if it's down there, it's out of the way. Anyway, should we get another hand? Ribbon.
Yeah, let's deal another one.
Another round as
I just-
well.
Another round.
Okay.
Very well.
Yeah, I mean, the guards will keep playing with you probably for about 2 or 3 hours.
Yeah.
I've also probably been just because we were doing so well.
Mm-hmm.
Might as well keep the streak going. I've been sort of flavoring their drinks, the guards' drinks, a little bit lighter with prestidigitation. Just to encourage them to drink a little bit more.
Okay. So you're casting spells at the table?
Yeah, I think that would be that is a good question how we should handle that. I've been trying to figure it out. There is no rule for it, but that is definitely something that Riven would do. I mean, he might get up to go to the latrine again and then sort of mutter over his shoulder.
Sure. What's the range on prestidigitation this edition?
I think it's 10 feet.
But in like a loud situation, could you not like mutter under your breath like as you're dealing or something like that?
Yeah, that's what I was figuring. Prestidigitation.
It is 10 feet. I've got it in mind.
10 feet, yep.
Okay. But yeah, I mean, in that case, you could probably cast it. You'd have to do a sleight of hand check to avoid detection. And also being aware that they're watching you since you are dealing the cards.
Nice.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, you cast a spell. No one makes any immediate sounds of outrage or suspicion. So
Okay, so we completely fleeced the caravan guards
oh yeah,
Yep.
over the course of two and a half hours. What did they eventually just go on their way, losing their money?
yeah. After they've lost basically all their spending monies, they take they bid their farewells and then they go about their business.
Oh, do drop in again. I'd love to spend some more time with you boys.
You guys can bet armor too.
They're a little bit their pride's a little bit hurt, but they don't appear to be in poor spirits.
So they had a good time even though they're now broke.
Yeah, I mean, it's basically like almost any interaction with a woman, you end up being poor, but you feel okay about it. So
That's the truth.
So as when they leave, I kind of like turn to the rest of the group, and I say, so we made out quite the amount of money there, it seems, and
Luck was on our side.
It was a good.
we didn't do too bad
Fun
for
was had
information
by all.
either.
Even them, I might say.
Darak, you seem quite concerned about this caravan.
Well, the place I was from, similar to place mentioned. He's a little sloppy
Alright.
drunk.
yeah, he's got a couple ales, dwarven ales.
Yeah, he has a pretty stout beer so far. He's a little tipsy.
Mel's been carefully managing her appearance of drinking a lot more than she ever was.
Ask tomorrow.
Isn't it like 3 o'clock in the afternoon?
Yeah, about 3 o'clock.
So apparently I'm already turning up to be the campaign alcoholic this time.
That's right. You've taken Ross's spot as the coveted alcoholic.
Well, at this point, after that awkward silence between the group,
Sorry, I was just reading a handout real quick.
Quill kind of turns to Mel and says, "Have you heard word of the local pawn shop, the location?"
I can't say I have, but I'm sure I can rustle up some information for you.
She nods.
And I stand up. Darak, do you want another while I'm at the bar?
Oh, I'll never turn down free ale. Bring another.
No one said it was free.
There's anything about free.
I'll head over to the bar and I'll go to the bartender and I go, 1 pint of dwarven ale, please.
I walk up there with him.
Okay.
Ew, that means I'm sitting at the table alone with the dwarf.
See, this is where the anti-elf racism comes into effect, and I'm going to be racist as hell this game
The
too.
reverse racism. Yeah, so you walk into the bar, bartender looks you up and down and says, "Well, my goodness, what have we here?
Oh
Please,
god.
try not to stare.
How can I help myself? Such a beautiful creature appears before me. And what are you drinking tonight, lass?"
I doubt you have anything suitable for myself, but my companion over there, and I nod to Darak. Drinking dwarven ale, I'll take a pint of that.
Alright, he says, well, of course. And he goes and pulls you a tankard and then hands it over.
I don't suppose you could tell me where what's it again? The pawn shop?
Oh, old Endrit's place? Of course I can. But what's in it for me?
I
Wow.
don't think I like your tone.
Oh, I mean, no offense. It's just, things around here have a price. I'm a proprietor, a business owner, an upstanding member of this community, and you were asking something from me, and I just wonder what you have to offer in return.
This is that same.
My goal is to make Daniel as uncomfortable as possible.
Good goal.
Is this guy at the bar though? Is he like the same scummy bartender that we encountered last time?
Actually, no, he's not.
Oh.
Oh, what?
Which is why he's not being particularly scummy.
Just curious.
Well, if you insist, I can, I don't know, and checks in her like satchel and gets out a couple of silver coins. I can pay you for your trouble.
And he just puts his hand over your hands. That's not necessary. Just remember me fondly in the future, and that will be payment enough. He says,
How fondly?
Valavo's Sundries is located on the southern end of town. Hey, Major Tight Pants, thanks for the follow, man. I appreciate it.
The southern.
Yeah, for you guys, it would be number 22.
And I take a quick glance over my shoulder at Quill and just like make eye contact to check she got that.
She nods and heads out the door, but waits
Thank you.
outside the door.
By the way, Daniel, your dwarven ale for some reason tastes like berry wine. It tastes kind of like a wine cooler, actually.
Okay. I'm gonna slam the mug down. I'm getting up. I'm pissed. I'm getting on the table. I'm going all dwarf drunk rage moment. I'm saying this ale tastes like elf piss, and I'm gonna throw it back at the bar.
Darak, I think that was intended for me. I don't think the bartender really believed I was ordering for you. Now, if you would kindly give him the dwarven ale that I asked for.
He looks confused. Like I gave him a dwarven ale. It was out of the same keg I've been serving him all night.
All right, I'm going up to the bar when he says this, and I'm how tall is this guy?
He's probably like 5'10".
Okay, so he's a little bit taller than I am.
Just a
Bro,
little bit.
I'm like
Michael,
5'5",
do we
so-
know what Ribbon does?
I'm just standing there watching. I'm not.
No, I mean,
being,
do we know that you're like a spellcaster? Would that
you
be-
probably would know a little bit. Yeah, I would say.
So I turn towards Ribbon and I raise an eyebrow.
What? Why are you looking at me?
I'm
I'm just sitting here enjoying a good drink.
I am grabbing the barkeep by like his jerkin, I guess, that he's wearing. I'd be like, take me to this cask of ale. I will not let the name of Dwarven Ale be thrown to the mud like this.
Listen, Derek, I'm sure no offense was intended. It was.
What's everybody's
obviously-
passive perception checks?
Passive perception. 15 for me.
Okay, I mean, basically anyone with over a 10 notices that like some of the burly servers and some of the quarry workers are all like standing up and starting to walk towards the commotion.
And now, Derek, I'm sure no offense was intended. It was probably just an accident. I'm sure the bartender will give you the Dwarven Ale you asked for, and no charge because of this mistake, and there will be no trouble. Am I right?
The bartender's just like looking down, like his demeanor has changed from like good-natured flirtation to what's the word? Indignant anger. He's like, first of all, the quality of my beverages is beyond reproach. Secondly, I do not appreciate being handled so rudely in my own establishment, especially in front of a lady. You will unhand me now, and I will make sure that no physical harm comes to you.
Shit. Fuck it. He's an angry drunk. He's not gonna let this shit go. So I'm going to get a new pint of ale, right?
He's like, you are welcome to have as many pints of ale in another establishment as you would like.
Am I not gonna get a
at this
replacement?
Point, Mel reaches into her belt pouch and like wipes her thumb across her lips. And I'm gonna cast suggestion on the bartender.
Okay. Are you going to try to disguise your spellcasting?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, suggestion's a pretty relaxed spell. It's like, it just needs the verbal, which is what I say to him, and the honey that I wipe on my lip. So I doubt it'd be that obvious anyway. I could put it in the chat, but it's about like a mile long.
I think suggestion part of the spell also is that, like, he knows afterward.
No, not with suggestion.
Not with suggestion. Oh, that's the other one. The friends.
Yeah.
No.
So he just needs to roll a save against DC 13 with
Okay.
wisdom.
Okay, what is your suggestion?
She says, "I'm sure there's no need for that. Let's just all calm down." And the suggestion is, so she says, "Let's just all calm down." And he says, "Just give him a new pint of ale and let this be." Is the suggestion.
Alright, he appears to... I mean, he looks over at Mel, and then he looks down at Derek, and you see, like, there's a very obvious war in his emotions. He's like, only because the lady suggested it. If you cause trouble in my establishment again, I will not be so forgiving the next time. And he tries to brush your hands off of him.
Derek, unhand the good man, please. He'll replace your ale. Let's just not have any trouble.
Oi, lass. I'm gonna let him go, and I'm gonna go back to the table, I guess, and wait on my ale.
Yeah, anybody with a passive perception over 14 or 14 or over notices that Riven is still casting spells. Just one after another.
So, okay. Is perception like inhibited by being slightly
Alcohol?
drunk?
Absolutely. I would say that you're like disadvantaged at the very least.
Okay,
but like
so-
yeah, like you definitely.
So even with my passive would go down.
I would just say yeah,
Guessing?
unless like you are
Okay.
actively paying attention to what's going on, your passive perception would be heavily disadvantaged.
Okay.
I want to go and pull Riven to the side for a minute. Riven, mess with anyone you want, but not the dwarf. He's
Oh, he'll like this
gonna-
one. He'll like this one.
No,
like this
no,
one.
Don't worry about it.
I'm sure I won't. I won't be here. I won't be here next time to clean up after this.
No need. He'll like this. Don't worry.
I love it. I mean, I'm
Don't worry.
Daniel pissing off barkeeps.
The
I
same. I
understand.
mean,
Love
the
it.
same tavern. Like you couldn't
Love
even
it.
wait. It took you less time this time.
My man Michael setting me up already. I love
That's
it.
right. Okay.
Now I have to go with
had-
Quill. And we have to take care of some things. Keep an eye on him. Make sure, try and keep him out of trouble.
I won't let him burn the place down. Don't worry.
Please.
Got it.
And then I head out to grab Quill, and we're going down to the.
Okay. Yeah, so he pulls him another ale, and this ale tastes like the finest, stoutest, bitterest dwarven ale you've ever had.
So,
How's the ale, buddy?
you said it's stout and bitter, but are you talking like bitter like it's bad, or
I said
bitter
the
like
finest.
Oh,
As
okay.
it should be.
Yeah,
Okay, all right.
exactly. The way that beer is supposed to be.
With the taste, okay. I didn't know if you meant like it was like bitter in like a bad way.
No.
Okay. This ale is on par with that of my clansman.
Yeah, the bartender
Fine
is.
indeed.
Yeah, the bartender just looks at you and then walks away.
And I'm gonna lift my mug and toast to him behind his back.
Okay. All right. So where are Mel and Quill going?
We're going down to the pawn shop number 22, I believe you said.
Yeah.
While we're walking there, Quill kind of looks at Mel and is just like with raised eyebrows and what was the commotion in there all about?
Oh, it's like taking care of children, Quill.
Yeah, she definitely chuckles at that one. And said hopefully they'll still be of some use in battle. Well, we've yet to see.
I sense they're reliable enough when the chips are down. She nods
Like
and
I
then-
said, we shall see.
Okay, so you arrive outside of Valavo's Sundries. You can only barely recognize this is the place you're supposed to be going because there was a tiny sign that is almost swallowed up by the immense amounts of like old weathered furniture, farming implements, stone masonry implements, boxes and barrels and crates that are piled around what appears to be a small residential home. And looking inside the front door, you see that essentially there are walkways between more crates and desks and bookshelves piled with goods all throughout this small house.
Are you sure this is where we need to be?
Yes.
Yes?
Very
No,
well
that was a firm yes.
Very well then, take the lead, I suppose.
Not really hesitating, she kind of pushes through the boxes and looks out for any sign of movement of people and presumably pushes there and looks towards to find like a counter of some sort where assuming business would be done. And
Now, as you walk in the door, you hear the sound of like jingling, chiming bells throughout the house, and you hear a querulous old man's voice. "Oh, who is it? A customer, I hope." And you see this old man shuffle out from inside. He's like, "Oh my goodness!" And you see him like he licks both of his fingertips and like smooths his mustache down. Like, "Well, what can I offer you two beautiful young women today? Come for the books, or have you come for something else? Perhaps some private lessons?"
The thing is, we're probably older than this guy.
yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Without really like even hesitating a moment, she before obviously checking beforehand to see if there's anyone else. Is there anyone else in the shop?
You see, or you hear more than see, the sound of footsteps. Sounds like maybe like children's footsteps because they are quite light as they scurry around.
Okay. Well, making sure that at least no one is in the line of sight, she Quill like folds back her sleeve and shows him a insignia on her wrist, and well, that's embroidered on the inside of the sleeve, not on her wrist.
Okay. He's like,
Yeah.
"Oh, you're interested in music as well. I did when I was a younger man, but alas, when you're poor human flesh, you lose your strength much faster. What? And then he motions for you to follow him, and leaning heavily on his cane, walks towards the back of the house/shop.
Would he, out of character, would he welcome Mel with, or would he?
I mean, he did not make any provisions that she should not be following.
Okay.
So, take that for what it is.
So, Quill kind of like gestures with her head for her to follow.
I, of course, would be following behind.
Okay. Yeah, so as you walk through, it's basically like a hoarder's paradise. But you see like interspersed throughout the junk, there's like new things that have only been manufactured in the past couple years, just crammed haphazardly in amongst relics that appear to be dozens, if not 100 years old.
Anything other than that catch, like anything specific that's like catches our eye, or?
I mean, he has a fair amount of books, paper, like old tomes, new books that are being printed out of Neverwinter, and Waterdeep. Aside from that, there's basically an entire room just full to bursting with books and parchments.
Okay, so she'd probably just be following him, not really looking around that much.
So he gestures for you to sit down at like a crowded table with 4 chairs set around it, and then he goes to what appears to be an extremely dangerously, like there are flammable things all around this tiny wood burning stove, and he puts a pot on the top of the stove to make tea. He's like, so what brings you to Red Larch? And how can I help you? Those who carry the sign generally need help.
She pauses for a moment and then says, I heard mention in the tavern this early afternoon of the Dwarven delegation that was seen coming through town. Do you know how long ago that was? Sorry if I don't remember if you said it.
Nearly a month now has passed since they left Red Larch.
And
though to be fair, in my recent come, and he starts to scuttle out of the room. You can see like the cloth and paper around his stove starting to like give off steam. And he walks into the room with the books and the parchments in it, and he returns with a large leather-bound tome cradled in his arms. He says, "Yes, I acquired this from a traveling merchant, a peddler really, wouldn't call himself a proper merchant, but he had just come from Womford to the south, and he acquired this there. He said, perhaps it would be of interest to you. I don't know. It could, I suppose. It does appear to be an unusual book for this area." He said that he attempted to purchase the entire lot, about a dozen of them, but the captain, he was less than forthcoming with the origins of where they had come from.
Well, we do know a certain someone. Actually, hold on. I speak Dwarven.
Mm-hmm.
What does it say?
It appears to be a treatise on historical recounting of several of the dwarven empires of the north. So, it is either a research book or a book someone was writing, editing, doing something to.
Okay. Clearly someone was working on this book at the time.
She turns to the old man and Endrith, excuse me, and says, and he said he was unable to discern, unable to tell you the whereabouts of where he acquired this tome or book.
Oh, he simply said that he had bought it from some merchant vessel captain in Womford. He himself was quite perturbed since the captain wouldn't tell him where he had even acquired these books from.
If I had to guess, they were taken from some sort of researcher.
It would seem that way.
I mean, out of character, you know that like the delegate, the Mirabaran delegation, had a single dwarf like historian attached to it who was, yeah, like one of the major reasons why people are upset that the delegation went missing.
Okay, so it wasn't an all dwarf delegation.
No, it was like basically like a dwarf, a bunch of armsmen from Mirabar, the body of a knight being returned to the Order of the Gauntlet from the Spine of the World, where he was killed fighting orcs, and then a few members of the Lord's Alliance of Waterdeep.
Okay.
Yep.
So she's kind of obviously taking in all the information, and she nods to the man, and she says, and you said about a month ago was the delegation was last seen?
Well, that's the last time they were here in Red Larch. Rumors around town say that they were heading across the stone bridge, and then very few have heard of them since.
Well, if I had to hazard a guess, I would say that they were waylaid.
Oh,
And
you
that
don't
this
think so,
boat
do you?
Was taken.
Who would attack a delegation of scholars?
Men seeking information? I don't know. That was half in character, half out. She kind of, she briefly thanks Endrith and says, "May I purchase this book from you?"
Of course, my dear. It is for sale after all, as are all my fine wares, but for that particular book I will give you the same price that I purchased it for, which is 25 imperial gold pieces.
And did we, out of character, did we ever discern how much gold we have right now?
300?
300? Okay.
Sure.
Yeah, so definitely I would quickly count out the gold and hand it to him.
Okay. He writes you out in rather tidy handwriting on basically a scrap of paper that's like the back of another page of another book. He writes you out a receipt for your purchase, and he wraps it in plain brown paper tied with a snip of twine.
And she places that in her pack and says, "Thank you very much."
Well, of course, and if you need anything else, if you just simply wish to come back and speak to an old man close to his deathbed, I would welcome the company.
Well, we may have need of you yet, so I imagine you will see us soon.
He takes your hand in his dry, papery skin. You know, I don't know if it offends you or not, but like, he just takes your hand and he's like, "Oh, the presence of such a beautiful young lady is the only boon a man like myself could ask for."
So I have heard, and I actually lean in and give him like a hug.
Oh, yeah, he's
Aw.
just, he's basically held together by, like, cobwebs at this point. His body is so frail.
Aww.
And you're just like, oh, it's so good to meet good folk in this troubling time.
As
No,
much as I
that's-
would like to stay and listen to your stories that I'm sure you have, we have other business to attend to in town.
Of course, and he waves you off with his cane. But should you require anything else, you're always welcome in the house of Endrith.
I thank
Cool.
you. And then we,
Sorry, go ahead.
so yeah, it's just like I thank you, and I turn to leave.
Yeah. Cool, thanks him again, and they both leave.
Okay, out you go.
We have business with the proprietor of the bathhouse after closing time, but other than that, we have nothing more pressing to do today. Have you set up our camp?
Yes, it's on the west side of town. Wow, I just totally lost my mind there. About, would you say that's like half a mile out?
Not even that.
Yeah, probably not even. It's like maybe 1,000 feet.
yards.
Yeah, 1,000
Oh,
feet.
all right.
100
Well,
yards.
it's not that
300 yards.
not that far out, but it's a nice cluster of trees, and there's a good water source with underground streams.
Then I will retire until evening.
All right, what are you guys doing at the tavern aside from getting blasted?
Oh, Riven's not. He had one drink.
Oh, I know. I mean, I know that Derek's just downing them though.
I'm
Okay.
trying to type out like a list of ideas of pranks that he's playing
Mhm.
because he just can't avoid himself. This is like the quintessential atmosphere for him.
Sure.
Mel, you probably want to get him out of here.
He's not.
No,
You'll
no.
learn eventually.
She left you in charge to keep
Yeah.
to keep track of
Yeah.
Daniel's character.
Nothing is like gonna. Like, I'm not gonna let the place burn down or anything. Nothing that trickstery.
Yeah, Mel knows you will only cause minor trouble as opposed to burning the place down. So
I'm not like absolutely just like downing every pint I get now, because after I had like the first two, I started to just
Yeah,
kinda,
that's usually the way it works.
sip 'em.
You gain more discipline as you drink more. That's
well, but,
Yeah.
well, but no, but like the like stout ale is pretty thick, so I'm probably gonna be like getting full off of the ale pretty quickly.
you're a dwarf.
it-
Dwarfs
I'm
have
thinking.
an uncanny ability to put back alcohol.
You know what? Fuck it, I'm getting
Yeah,
plastered.
just get destroyed.
Fuck it.
That'll have no repercussions.
I'm just getting slammed, and I'm singing some Scottish folk songs that are surprisingly dwarvish.
There you go. Surprisingly dwarvish. All right, so you guys basically just keeping occupied until evening comes.
Yep.
Okay. Staying in the tavern, you hear most of the talk is about the sinkhole that opened up, the group of adventurers who disappeared out into the wilderness shortly afterwards, and essentially lines of questioning of where they had gone, what had happened to them.
well, two of them came back.
I mean, did you guys actually manage to come back?
Oh boy.
Yeah,
Okay, I didn't know if you had gone with that or like you had gone, they died.
yeah, no. Akainu and Navari came back but moved on out of town.
Okay.
Well, I was looking at Byron. I was looking at your chat from the other
That's not what I wanted.
the the other one, the dungeon thing, and one of your people said that.
Yeah, Navari crit failed and should have died.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
I guess I didn't realize what.
Me neither, at the time.
Yeah. So I guess I would have died anyway. So everybody's dead.
Sure. For the sake of this story, they never came back.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's questions as to what's going to happen to what's his name's sheep, the shepherd you were supposed to be escorting back out of town.
Oh no.
Yeah, what's going to happen to his flock? Who's going to inherit it? That kind
What
of
about
thing.
Aw.
Hargrave's chicken?
Oh man, his one chicken. You mean he had like a ton of
He had more than-
chickens? Yeah, he had a bunch of chickens.
Yeah, we had the one that he bought during the game center.
Yeah. Yeah.
Alas.
Prop?
What's going to happen to the green boot flock? These are questions that need to be answered. Yeah. Okay. So you just hear a bunch of different rumors as you're drinking it up in the tavern.
I'm guessing we all weren't supposed to see that.
No,
what?
it's okay.
Yeah.
I learned a good lesson though. When you hit Shift Enter, it starts a new line and it's no longer to the GM.
Oh, interesting.
So he only saw like the introductory to my list, and you guys saw the whole list.
Perfect. Perfect.
So
Learn something new every day.
Yo, can prestidigitation make illusions?
no, but minor illusion can.
Oh, you're using
Yep.
minor illusion?
Honestly, I'm just impressed you can say that word without any kind of issues.
I
Prestidigitation?
love that word.
Yep.
Yeah.
Good
Yeah.
thing we both have prestidigitation and minor illusion.
Amazing. I'm going to
They're-
have so
they're
much
just
fun
the
this
best.
game.
It's even better that I don't have to say either of those words ever.
That's right. But yeah, so night comes, and I guess Derek and Riven are still in the tavern, getting some valuable info. I mean, in between like causing chaos.
Mostly, I'm just trying to annoy the bartender because I don't like how forward he was. I kind of pick a person and then
Sure.
And
can't
I'm
know, but it's just sort of.
I'm going into a very rowdy version of the bottles of beer on the wall song, whatever it is.
I mean, as long as you guys can basically like easily drink off of the winnings you made from the caravan guards. So-
Okay, I'm not drinking that much. Okay, I do value currency.
Riven probably is drinking water and then flavoring it to taste like something with prestidigitation.
You're putting your Prestidigimio in it.
Yeah,
Mio's delicious.
he doesn't really like drinking all that much.
Sure.
drink here and there.
Okay. Well, I guess then
Stop.
back to Mel and Quill if you're coming back into town for the evening.
Yeah, so sort of sunset happens, and we head back into town to go to the bathhouse.
Okay. So to the bathhouse you go,
Mm-hmm.
and you see that the shop floor has been transformed. There are several small tables set with 2 chairs each and fine tablecloths of red linen, and the entire shop is lighted with stained glass lanterns that cast a muted glow throughout, and you see several of the town's prominent womenfolk sitting around having either libations or, in some cases, tea, small pastries, and chatting about the gossip of the town. And presiding over all of this is the woman who you met earlier. How do you even pronounce that?
Halia.
Halia? Okay. Yeah. That one. Halia, whatever she is. Anyways.
Well, Quill, it looks like we will be taking tea with the town's ladies.
She rolls her eyes.
You're welcome to post up out here and keep watch if you prefer.
Yeah. So she sees you enter, and then she, makes quite a show of getting you one of the finer tables set off to the side in the shadow of one of the lanterns, taking you, linking arms with you and gossiping and laughing melodiously as she takes you to your table.
A small daffodil blooms out of Mel's hair.
You see her pluck it. Well, I mean, I don't even know if she would know it was there at the time, unless you showed it to her or told her that it was. But
I mean, she probably sees it, and if she goes to reach for it, she says, "Please don't.
okay.
We'll die."
You just see her smile and coquettishly curtsy to you, and such a fine gift. And she sits down or pulls up another chair and sits down with the two of you and says, "So, what fine gossip have you brought?"
Phil went outside to keep watch.
Oh, okay, got you. Then it'll just be those two. All right. So
Yeah.
she'll sit down with Mel and be like, "So, what fine gossip have you brought from the courts?"
Well, we have a new knight.
Oh, really?
Yes. Lysandro, he lost the interest of the queen.
Oof. Oftentimes a deadly proposition. Was his sword no longer of a pleasing girth? And she puts her hand over and says, "Oh my goodness, I'm so forward." You just bring out, and she puts her hand on your arm and says, "I just bring out the worst in me."
I don't think you should suggest such things to the king, my dear woman.
And she just laughs melodiously again. She says, "The king knows how the games are played."
I'm sure he does, but I don't think he likes the game being flaunted in his face either.
Well, she looks around and she says, "Has the king taken the guise of some dowdy old women in a small town in the middle of nowhere? If so, then I must award him for his creativity."
Unfortunately, no. The current king, is unimaginative and doesn't get up to much in the world anymore.
And this is why the queen's eye and her hands wander.
Perhaps if he played more games, he would have more interest. I suppose you are right.
But we're not here to speak of the king. Though I do appreciate the news from home. What can I do for you here?
Well, the first thing of which, as I'm sure you're aware, is the disappearance of Teresiel.
Oh, indeed. And she was, much like the king, she was quite lacking in the area of imagination. It's so sad.
I don't know her myself. She didn't spend time at court, but...
Oh, she follows much more in the traditions of the king and the knight, and they're swinging their swords and killing things with their mighty weapons. So
never
boring.
did see much myself in the pursuits.
But did you know that Tyresia was carrying a gift from the queen herself, one she labored quite long on?
I was aware. I have in fact been, and I look around, sent to retrieve it.
Oh. Well, that would certainly gain you favor in the eyes of the queen. As would any who assisted you in your exploits. Consider myself at your service.
I suppose you know Golden Fields?
Of course, far to the south.
What can you tell me?
It's run by, well, at least it appears to be run by a chantry of those followers of Shantia. A good place, carefully tended, grows much food for the area.
They do good work if under the wrong name, I suppose.
The mortals simply have their beliefs, their figureheads, much as we do. But yes, they do good works. They grow food, they nurture the land, they keep the bond of the spirit of the land strong. It's a good place. It's why the queen chose it as a place where she is going to attempt to thin the veil between the worlds. It has much of the old magic there.
I question why she would need to thin the veil here of all places. This is not exactly a location for a court, is it? It's
not here in Red Larch, but Goldenfield, if shaved properly, could certainly... The ley lines, Meliandra. The ley lines.
I suppose.
The power gathers where it wills, and it pools, and it flows, and even the queen cannot change that.
I am not one to question the queen, I suppose. Tell me, I suppose Teresia was traveling south.
Oh, she had taken up with this delegation from Mirabar, some dour old dwarf historian, and her traveling companion from Waterdeep. What was her name? What was her name? It started with an L, maybe? No, Lore? No, not Lore. Something along those lines. What was her name, indeed?
I assume you do not mean to imply that Teresia would take on an illicit lover, or you would most certainly remember her name.
Just saying, I believe that Teresiel was lusting after this young woman, but she's a human and from the city of all places. I'm not certain that relationship would have lasted, but...
It wouldn't have lasted. I don't even think it would have got started. The queen would have certainly got involved.
And they were traveling with yet another dwarf. Rundorth was his name. Also, apparently held some sort of position of power within Waterdeep, though not significant, obviously, or else he wouldn't have been on this fool's errand of a delegation.
I understand. Thank you for your help, and we have been told by some of the coarser members of the population around here where we might find the last location of the delegation. Is there anything more you know?
Oh, simply that they left about a month ago. They traveled north. Teresiel expressed that they were going to cross the stone bridge across the river, and then they had some errand to perform on the other side before heading south to Goldenfields.
Seems the stone bridge is to be our first stop. Very well, I thank you. I will mingle among the ladies here for some time. I will take in the gossip of the town, I will share tea, and then I will bid you good night. I've traveled long today.
Of course. And she stands up and curtsies to you again, before fluttering off to oversee her flock of dowdy old hens.
And I stay for one cup of tea, and then I head out and rejoin Quill.
Okay. Yeah, as you go outside, you guys hear the sound of shouting from the tavern. But it doesn't sound like a mob of people shouting. It sounds like one person shouting. And then you see a lone, like, half-dressed human run out into the street, drunkenly slurring and shouting about ghosts and phantasms, and the spirits of the adventurers had come back to haunt them.
I think Riven has been playing his practical jokes again.
Quill kind of looks annoyed and says, should we even bother checking it out, or should we let them play their games?
Well, I mean, he runs past you to the north, like, his long johns half falling around his thighs, like...
Alright, well, I guess we already checked it out.
Yeah, you checked it out and it wasn't very impressive from what you saw.
At least he's not naked.
Well, I'm going to head in to at least warn Riven and Darak, although I don't know if Darak will be in any position to remember what I tell him, but I'm going to at least warn them that we will be heading out tomorrow for the stone bridge.
Quill nods and says, I'll go and prepare the fire at camp.
Very good. And so I head into the tavern again.
Okay. And in the tavern, it's become much more crowded since you came there at noon. It seems that many of the local laborers and workers have sought refuge from the troubles of the outside world in alcohol and companionship at night. So it is, I mean, it's packed, like, from the windows to the walls, basically, packed.
I assume I can locate Darak and Riven in here.
Oh yeah, because nobody wants to sit around Darak, but he's basically, like, throwing his tankard back and forth and singing rowdy dwarven songs, like, splashing on everybody around him.
I walk over
Probably
to
got a
him
good bit of a crowd.
in a very sweet singing voice. I join in with his dwarven drinking song.
Okay.
Well, while they're distracted, I have this typed out, but I'll just say it now. I want to find one of the richer. They have to be rich, and they have to be well distracted by this the dwarf and the half-elf singing.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm gonna, from a distance, try to grab his wallet.
They have to be rich. These are almost, I mean, like, this is 90%
like
laborers in here.
Okay, one of the few that aren't laborers. It doesn't even matter.
Okay,
One
go
of the
ahead and
better
make your sleight of hand
hand.
check.
And I'm like I'm at a distance using Mage Hand.
Sure.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right, yeah, you managed to tug his purse out from where it is tied to his belt.
And I'm going to wait for. I'm just pocket it, and
Okay.
then wait for the right opportunity to place it somewhere, like sort of observe the innkeeper, like where his like personal area is. Maybe like a shelf behind the counter, or maybe even just right next to the I know there's probably not a register, but like the cash box.
Sure.
And then I'll place it in when there's a free spot. I'll place it in wide, right in the open,
Okay.
right there.
All right.
And I don't take any money out of it.
Okay.
I don't even look at how much is in there. I don't care.
Sure. All right, so you put the purse down, and nothing happens for a while.
Just planting the seeds.
I know. I know you are.
So I come up to Darak and I say, Darak, you've been here all afternoon. I think you've had enough. It's about time we get to bed. We got a long day tomorrow.
I'm kind of sleepy.
Well, Darak, when you wake up, we'll be heading out in the morning. We're heading, what is it, north, Byron?
Yes.
To the
Okay,
South
so just to give you guys, let's take you back to their map real quick. Like, just to give you guys some perspective on how far you're gonna have to travel to get there. Each one of these hexes is 10 miles.
Yeah. It's about 5 days, I believe they said, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, that was like.
Oh yeah, time to give us more time to die to random encounters again. Yay!
Yeah. So it's basically 300 miles to Beliard. Is that fucking right?
Holy no way.
Yeah, it's about 300 miles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9,
30
10,
squares?
11.
Or hexagons, whatever.
I mean, technically it's 12, so it's 320 miles. Wait,
You can-
no,
you can
120 miles. What am I talking about? 120
can-
miles.
Can you
Myron,
do math?
It's really easy. You can set the
hex to be the right
hex
distance.
to be 10 miles each,
Oh, interesting.
and then when you drag it along, it'll tell you.
No, I can't do math. It's 120, not 300.
So like, oh my god, man.
Oh, wow, you can. Look at that. Miles. 10. Boom. Perfect. Yeah, it's nice. Look at that.
Well, that's exactly how far we have to go.
Technology, man.
90,
So-
30,
Like
Look at
100, 110.
120. 120 miles to Beliard. So 4 days of travel,
Yeah.
Plus, we were going through hills,
give or
which
take, right?
may not be the
Still a
most
long way.
speedy of travel. Looks like there is a path.
Definitely should have picked hills as my favored terrain.
What
It's
did
not
you
a
pick?
bad one. Yeah.
I picked forests because that's where I live. So I assume that would
Okay.
make sense.
Okay, we don't pick based on RP, Carolyn. We min-max in this group, okay?
That's right. We only
Alright.
min-max, and your favorite enemy should always be Manticore.
Um, actually, it should be humanoids and
Always
specifically
Manticore.
humans, but yeah, whatever.
Humanoid, yeah.
I have
It is
humans
human.
and elves.
Yeah, she has humans and elves.
I actually considered trying to do a Justice of Wield and Woe, like an assassin instead of this, but this sounded a lot more fun.
Assassins are cool, but
I always
So
wanted
yeah,
to play it.
so tomorrow I guess we'll be beginning the 4-day trek out to the Stone
Yep.
Bridge in Beliard.
That's right.
And so yeah, as I finish up to Derek and I'm leading Derek out of the tavern, I come to Riven. I say I don't know how much longer you intend to play your games, but we have an early morning tomorrow for travel.
Right, yeah. We should get to bed soon. I'll just be a few more minutes. This shouldn't take long.
Very well. You'll find the inn just across the street.
Good.
are we staying in the inn or are we going to that campfire that she
No,
set
it's
up
not
earlier?
your camp. I made camp.
This is our camp.
Yeah,
Oh.
you can make your own damn camp if you want to sleep in the woods.
Man,
So
I thought you guys
we're-
were like
so-
traveling
yeah, so-
companions.
So we're
This is
a
the-
traveling
this is
companions
elf-
that sleep
This is
separately.
the elf woman camp, okay? Deal with it.
Yeah,
Wow, so sexist and racist.
That's right, both sexist and racist. Get
So-
wrecked, son.
I'm just saying, if I ask to come to your camp, is that what my answer that I'm going to get?
well, we wouldn't tell you no, but we wouldn't do anything
You'll have-
for you.
you'll have to
You'd
set
have
your
to set
own
everything
tent.
up.
Yeah.
Was I just talking at the same time as?
Yeah,
I-
basically.
I couldn't tell what you guys are saying. So
You'll have to set up your own tent. And, you know.
Yeah, because we have enough stuff for us two, and that's about it.
so you won't warm a nice dwarf on a cold summer night?
Hey, only if it's Patty. Warm you up, baby.
God. Yeah, I'm gonna like follow behind you guys to your camp, and I'm just gonna lay down on the ground and go to sleep.
I mean, if you just want to lay in front of the fire, that's fine. But
That's what I'm doing.
all right, you do that.
I'll even share some of our soup.
I literally
I'm
where I get there, I'm falling down. I'm going to sleep. I'm pretty drunk.
Yeah, so we have some soup and hit the beds.
Okay.
My liquid bread.
Is anyone keeping watch?
Um,
I'm taking it as a no. I'm taking it
Well,
as a
hold on.
no.
Caroline will be in trance.
yeah. So I'll have semi-consciousness.
Yeah, you cheater, trying to kill us. Night one.
So we're all going back to the camp outside of town. Is that what I just gathered?
You can go to the inn if you want. We know.
Derek came, followed us to our camp.
I mean,
I'm like a drunk puppy.
Like a drunk puppy. The best kind of puppy.
You'd actually probably be more welcome in the camp than Derek is, because you're an elf.
Yeah.
It's a racist assholes. Anyway.
oh, I'm still in the. I'm like he stays in the inn until.
Okay.
I mean, he technically needs 8 hours of rest, but I haven't expended any resources to get back. So I mean, he needs the 4 hours of trance, and
Yeah.
as long as there's people to trick, he's just. I imagine he's probably stolen a few more purses and added them to the innkeep's stash. If and you know, sort of like one every hour or so.
This could end so badly.
So yeah.
So everybody's
Yeah.
going there, sleeping
Yeah.
comfortably. No problems.
Hold on.
We can, Patty. It's not a problem.
Okay. So yeah. So during the night, I'd say Quill, you probably are aware of this, but Mel gets up and leaves the tent during the night, and you hear her singing outside in Sylvan.
So she's not coming to warm up the old dwarf.
No.
No.
Man, if you've ever had to smell yourself when you've drank a lot of beer, it's not a pleasant smell.
That's fair enough.
Like when it's coming out of your pores, like you've drank so much.
I'm
it's-
literally sweating off alcohol. Yeah.
yeah, it's not the best thing in the world.
So yeah, Mel gets up, walks out of the tent, walks off into the forest, singing in Sylvan.
And oddly, anyone who's awake or who hears this hears a second voice singing back in harmony. Yeah, so basically, Kiki's just like, you see her, her form projected on the mist and fog in the trees. Obviously, she can't physically be there, but...
Yeah.
So she asks you, so what have you found of our missing Teresiel?
I understand where to begin my search. We are to head northeast tomorrow morning to the stone bridge by Beliard. That is where she would have last been seen.
I fear that perhaps she has gotten too used to this world and its delights and dangers. I would warn you not to follow in her path.
I have somewhat more experience with this world than Teresiel did.
And yet she, for some reason, was given the favor of the Queen's blessing. Questions you may wish to ask yourself as your journey continues, but my time here grows short.
Do not question me, Kiki. The Queen chose me for this mission.
And then you see her pout, or her form pout. She says, and yet I am your handler for this mission. So who is holding the reins and who is pulling the wagon?
I'm sorry, I don't see anyone doing any rein holding because some of us don't have a real body.
You hear her laughter like music, and she says, and neither can the Queen project herself to the physical world. Yet. We must rely upon the crude tools that we have at hand.
Damn.
Soon enough, Kiki, soon enough we will make the Queen. So, and when we do, you will be left behind.
You hear her titter and laugh. She says, I have been at the Queen's side for centuries. You have barely been alive for that long, but I did not come here to banter in this way with you. I simply came to get a progress report. And unfortunately...
Yes, go back. Arcadia is calling you.
Yeah. He says, the Queen will hear. And she fades away.
And I noticeably less singing on the way back to the tent. If anything else happens, that's it for the night.
As a total random factoid I'm going to throw in here, I hate people that use fireworks the day after. Like, just get it out the day of. It's annoying and obnoxious.
Fireworks is fireworks. Anyways, yeah, so the night passes uneventfully, and you wake up the next morning refreshed and ready to go.
Okay, since I'm a dwarf, can I assume that I would not have that bad of a hangover?
What's your con? Yeah, sure. You got a 15 con. You're fine.
Yeah, alright.
Although I didn't hear you say that you drank any water, so you're probably extremely dehydrated.
Whenever I wake up, I'm gonna go off and there's like trees nearby, right?
I mean, you're by a tree and a pond and
If he's at the camp outside town,
yeah.
I'll be sitting there waiting when he wakes up, and I hand him a glass, like a mug of cold water. I think it was right by this lake, right?
Yeah, it's over there.
Yeah.
I'm also drinking some.
Okay.
Okay, whenever he hands me the glass, I'm just gonna drink it all down. Not playing into any pranks at all.
Nope.
It's like ice cold.
Ice cold, delicious and refreshing. Just what you needed.
Okay, and then I'm gonna like walk away from the party a little bit. I'd say, right outside of like hearing distance, and I'm gonna do my morning prayers.
Okay. So what's the plan for the day?
Riven, I don't suppose you thought to put the breakfast on, did you?
Don't think that was in the agreement. I don't know. I could start some.
I mean, it's too late now, isn't it? We're gonna have to do it ourselves now, but...
We could just go to the tavern or the inn.
I suppose we could.
I mean, why are we camping outside the town anyway?
We are not camping anywhere. Me and Quill are camping outside the town because we prefer it here.
Let's see. I mean, I'm no slouch. I like the wilderness myself, but we're within earshot of a fine town. Roofs over our heads, beds to sleep in. I mean,
some of us are more comfortable out here.
Oh, I'm plenty comfortable. No matter. Should we cook here? I mean, we don't need to leave right now.
Well,
sun
we
will
will
just come up.
we will await Darak's return, and we will get some breakfast in the town as you suggest, and we will head out after that.
When us cooking here.
I'm gonna come back after probably 15 minutes.
Okay.
So
I guess we'll set up some breakfast then.
Probably have a campfire going.
Yeah.
you all might be proper lasses yet. Even though you won't warm a feller's bed, you may make him breakfast in the morning.
Hey.
Hey, I'm the one cooking here. I'm not warming anyone's bed.
You're cooking? Oh, well, damn it. Totally ruins my sexist banter.
Yep.
Oh, well, what are you going to do?
I wouldn't call it banter, more stupidity, but you know.
Alright, Miss Liberal Chicago, have fun.
No, right?
With your unshaved armpit hairs.
What is it even?
Shots being fired back and forth. Okay, Corral.
Just sort of all the gesticulations and maneuverings of cooking and prepping food. He's casting spells and flavoring foods and changing things.
Okay.
So yeah, we get breakfast and we eat. And then
What are we
it's
having for
north,
breakfast?
Doesn't really matter because apparently it's gonna be tasting like something different.
That's right. Probably just, I mean, eggs are always easy. I think that would be easy to come by.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
And we know there's lots of bacon in town. We probably could have picked some bacon.
There's actually an acute
Shortage.
bacon shortage at this point.
Oh, is there? It was left. A huge chunk was left on the trail.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whoa.
So waved a
Just to here.
fucking manticore.
It should have worked. That's all I'm saying. Should have worked.
Then after breakfast, we begin the journey north, unless anybody has anything else to do in town.
Let's see here.
Nope.
1, 2.
Nope. I'm good to go.
All right. So you guys are setting out from Red Larch. Are you going to take the Larch Path through the Somber Hills? You're going to go north to West Bridge and then down the Stone Trail.
Yeah, no, go through the hills there.
Mhm.
Straight shot.
All right. So after about 3 days of travel, you reach the Stone Bridge, or
Oh, wow.
you see the Stone Bridge in the distance.
No manticores on the way.
Hey,
No,
hey,
no
I
random encounters?
mean,
Really?
do you really want manticores along the way?
Well, no, I was about to suggest that today was a good day.
So within eyesight of the Stone Bridge, you see that it's a gigantic stone archway, 2 miles long and 400 feet high over the Desserin River, flowing
That's like
swiftly below it. The bridge comfortably spans the highest or the widest spring flood. It is also the sacred site of pilgrimage for many dwarves. Daniel.
That's a badass.
Built to
bridge.
connect those parts of the dwarven realm of Besselmer and the past on both the western and eastern banks of the Desserin River. The stone bridge appears to be made of smooth, fused hard granite. It is only 6 paces wide and lacks railings or barriers of any kind, so anyone atop is at the mercy of the wind, particularly in the harsh winters. Legend has it that the dwarf god Moradin appeared on top of the stone bridge to rally his dwarves against the Iron Star orcs, which eventually, along with the trolls and ogres of the north, wiped out the ancient kingdom of Besselmer.
So I guess we come to the like, what would that be? The western foot of the bridge.
Yes.
I suppose. And this is where the delegation supposedly went missing, right? Where they were last seen.
They were actually last seen heading south from Beliard, so they crossed the stone bridge.
So they got over
Yes.
successfully.
Well, I mean that's what the caravan guard you spoke to the day before said.
Yeah. In that case, I suppose we should begin looking. This trail will be a month old, and I wouldn't surprise if it was cold by now, but it can't hurt to investigate.
Wait, didn't he say it was south of Beliard? So, like, we have to get to Beliard first and then start traveling south? Or am I
Yes,
missing-
he did say that they were traveling south from Beliard, or at least
Oh,
that's.
I thought they went missing by the bridge.
No.
Oh, in which case,
So they're going to be somewhere in this.
Why don't you
this
refer to
span.
the handy-dandy handouts that I gave you?
I have been looking at them, but they're somewhat
The missing delegation.
somewhat vague.
No, whatever, that the Mirabar delegation was last seen traveling south from Beliard toward Wumford. Black and white, clear as crystal.
So they could even be as far as somewhere in that range. We don't really know.
Well, I guess
He didn't say.
we can continue our journey to Beliard then.
I just want to make a point that whenever we go across the stone bridge, I want to just like get down and like rub the stone and say, "Nice bridge, nice stone, nice stone."
Now tell me this: how does it stand?
Doesn't appear to have any supports underneath it.
'Cause it's
Dwarven,
magical.
fine dwarven architecture.
I
I'd wager there's a bit more to it than that.
Are you doubting the craftsmanship of McKinn?
I'm just saying, there's no support beams. I mean, I'm no genius, and I'm definitely not an architect, but common sense. Common sense, my fine dwarf.
My
Oh.
fine dwarf.
I jump on it. It's not even shaking.
Well, wood elf buildings may need their flimsy support system, but we dwarves build rock-solid foundations that you can't even see. They're that good.
Where I come from, we have buildings you could not even begin to fathom, dwarf.
Aye, because they're probably so shoddily built, excuse me.
Anyway, just thought I'd
Nice rock.
see if you could
Nice.
answer my. I was wondering,
Nah, I didn't take.
not
the,
impressed.
I
But
I
Your
didn't take
mind
the.
would,
You're not an architect. so-
your mind
didn't
would boggle at the constructions of Arcadia, dwarf.
I didn't take the masonry background. I took blacksmithing, but
The very most basic of our houses would astound you.
that fanatical, crazy-looking Patty's eye.
Quill looks very uncomfortable on this bridge.
Yeah, it's basically like 20 feet wide, 6 paces. So, you know, no railings. You're about 400 feet up.
Doing the polar bear crawl across.
I'm just sitting on my butt and I'm gonna scoot forward all the way
Yeah.
across the bridge.
Yes.
Come on, Quill, you make us
Um,
look bad in front of the dwarf.
So what's everybody's passive perception checks
Enjoys it.
again?
15.
15,
14.
14,
13.
13.
We have a 12.
Do we have 12 and 11?
No.
In any case, everybody can see off in the distance. You see what appears to be several large birds flying from the northeast. They seem to be crossing over the town of Beliard and heading into the Somber Hills. And as they draw closer, you can tell that there appear to be small figures on their backs.
So they're like big birds.
Hard to tell. Perspective's a bitch when you have nothing to compare it against. But
So, but if we see people on the back of them, we can, or at least humanoids on the back of them, we can assume that they're fairly large.
I mean, it could be a hawk with a fairy on it. You don't know.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. Perspective is tough.
As you come to me, and like seemingly out of nowhere, an owl comes onto. He kind of always keeps a leather gloves on, so the owl can rest on his hand. Just like out of nowhere, there's an owl on his arm. Sort of whispers something into its ear, and then it flies up.
Okay.
Before the owl dies.
Shush!
Is it going to inspect?
It's just getting up higher. It's not
Okay.
going far away from us. Just
Alright.
because
You noticed
it
that,
has, it's a bird of prey. Even owls can see far distance in the
Sure.
day.
I was gonna say, you noticed that Quill looks visibly delighted at the sight of the owl, and
Like as
isn't-
you.
she says, a clan I once stayed with had similar the tribal
Owls.
or the not I'm trying to
Use your words.
The head of the clan person. He had an owl.
The headsman, maybe?
That. Yes, thank you.
The clan headsman had an owl. Huh, fine. Was it a barn? Well, I don't know what. I haven't really thought what type
Great
of owl.
snowy owl, barn owl, hoot owl.
Whatever owl you just decided, she looked delighted because it was the same type.
Okay.
That's awfully convenient.
Hey,
You know what?
D&D's awful convenience all the time.
So yeah, it's just flying up into the sky so that it can get a better vantage.
Okay.
It might start circling around us, but I don't really want it to get in danger.
Okay. So you have a telepathic link to it for how great of a distance?
It's 120 feet.
Okay, gotcha. All right.
I'll check.
So your owl, your owl is circling around above you as you guys are crossing the stone bridge. And you see Beliard, a mere 10 miles distance, nestled at the entry to a valley between two of the larger hills leading into the Somber Hills.
Head on down that way.
All right.
It's 100 feet.
Okay. So yeah, again, aside from the sighting of those largish bird creatures, then there's really nothing unusual about your travels. You see the deep ruts of wagon wheels in the road, as well as the quite old remains of mule droppings that would lead you to believe that this is a well-traveled path. And anyone from this area or who has any kind of knowledge would know that Beliard is often a stop between Westbridge and travelers coming to or leaving from Yartar and the east in general. So this is a fairly well-traveled area. So I'd say probably around the evening time, you guys would be descending into Beliard. And
The owl doesn't discern anything more
no,
about those.
about the things, no. And even if it
How
did,
far away were they?
probably at least you saw them over Beliard, so at least 10 miles away.
Okay.
But they were passing in this general direction.
Alright.
So basically east, like slightly northeast to slightly southwest.
Before we go into Beliard, I would dismiss as you. No need to alarm people with the giant owl.
Okay.
Okay. So into Beliard, you see that it is a pleasant-looking village, surrounded by many local fruit-bearing trees. It is at the intersection of the road, the Desrin Road, and the Stone Trail leading to the northwest. You also see, traveling in from the Stone Bridge, you see several cattle ranches to the north, and the expansive pastures in that direction. And as you enter Beliard itself, you see several large ponds that appear to have essentially stock pens outside of them, and also a chute area leading through several of the ponds where you could drive your cattle through them to wash them off and cool them down on a hot day. The only...
And beef.
Say what?
I said fruit and beef. What more do you need?
That's right. Hey, Omagerd! Thanks for following, man. I appreciate it. But yeah, the only building of note in the whole town is a quite large and popular inn known as the Watchful Knight. Outside of the Watchful Knight, the local attraction is what appears to be an inoperative helmed horror. But several years ago went missing, as did the innkeeper shortly afterwards.
So there is an helmed horror there, or it's
There's
no
not.
longer
It was
there and
it was
closed?
known. It was known to be why it was called the Watchful Knight, but then disappeared several years ago. It also has this particular area has a large number of former bodyguards, mercenaries, and caravan guards who have retired to the area of Beliard. So even though it is quite out of the way for some people, it avoids the worst of the bandit and orc incursions.
Yeah.
So,
Head into the tavern, I suppose.
okay, let me give you guys some stuff. There's a thing. Here's a thing.
Oh wow.
Oh, well, this place is very scenic, isn't it?
I know, right? So,
The word idyllic comes to mind.
there you go. So into town you go, or into the Watchful Night you go, rather.
Yep.
It is a 3-story inn. The first floor appears to be primarily a bar. There are several tables, as well as a long bar stretching along one wall. The second story appears to be primarily an eating area, so there is a little bit quieter, and it's separated from the first floor by a staircase with a half door, and then the third floor appears to be the actual lodgings. So,
Okay.
you are met as you walk in the door by an elderly man who introduced himself as Neshor Floridin, the current proprietor. And he, as I said, he greets you as you walk. He says, "Oh, hello, travelers. What brings you to Beliard this day?"
I'm afraid it might be bad news, Mr. Florida.
"Oh, my heart can't take any more bad news. It's been such a poor month." But
Well, I don't think
I'm so
it'll be
sorry.
bad news for you specifically, but...
Well, any kind of bad news is bad news for me.
Well then, I'm afraid I'm gonna have to disappoint you.
Oh no.
We're here investigating the disappearance of a delegation from Mirabar about a month back.
Oh yes, yes. Have you come to find them?
I'm not sure we'll find them, but we're here to find out what happened, certainly.
Well, they left. They went south about 2 weeks ago. They had said that they were intending on visiting Summit Hall. That's what it was. Summit Hall, where the knights and the paladins and all those noble warriors stay. They were returning a body from one of their followers on their way south. Yes. But they haven't been seen for several weeks now.
Do we know if does anybody know if they made it as far as Summit Hall?
We haven't actually sent out any messengers. It's been quite dangerous around here recently.
Understandable. It's worth asking, though. Well, Mr. Floridin, I don't think we'll be in your establishment for long, but I would like to book 2 rooms for the night and some dinner.
Of course. I honestly don't remember what a reasonable rate was. Like a silver a night? Is that reasonable in this economy?
I think so, yeah.
Okay, let's just say a silver a night for both rooms, and then, like the meals for all of you be another silver.
Yeah. So, 6 silver in total.
Sure. No, I mean like the meals for all of you collectively be 1
Oh,
silver.
so
So 3 silver total, yeah.
Okay.
So what sort of dangers can we expect on the road going south?
Oh, the caravan guards have been set upon by orcs, ogres. A manticore's been seen flying around here.
Oh my.
That manicore sounds like something we should go take care of. Bastard.
Dangerous beasts, I hear.
Aye.
Orcs and ogres and manticores.
Oh my.
Got it. Oh my. Good to know.
There we go. Okay. He says, you may want to speak with Senya, my daughter-in-law, and there was a man who had driven his cattle in from the south pastures through the hills for sale, who ended up staying for some sort of extended business. His name was, what was his name? Benji. Benji was his name, yes, indeed. You may wish to speak with them. They may have more information that I simply don't. It's been such a frightening time for us here.
I understand. Are they here?
Oh yes, Senya. He points to a pretty young woman who is serving one of the tables on the upper floor.
And, what was it, Benji?
Yes, and Benji. He's currently not here, but he should be in tonight if you wish to stay the night.
Well, we were intending on it, so... Thank you
you
for
said
your
he-
help.
he knows more because he's traveled the area recently. What was
He had said he had seen something strange coming from the south. About
Something
10
strange?
about 10 miles south of here.
It's not very descriptive. Something strange could be anything.
I didn't ask too many questions, just enough to be polite. But he said it was frightening, and I don't know exactly what that means. He's a fairly stout man. He's used to handling a few dozen head of cattle, so you have to be pretty strong to do that.
Always worthy of note when otherwise.
Well, thank you for your time and your hospitality. I will take my leave to talk to Senya.
Okay, he just bows at you, and then he goes back to serving his other customers.
And I'll head upstairs. I think you said she was upstairs, right?
Yep. So upstairs, you see a rather pretty young woman who is serving the tables in a sort of no-nonsense manner, slapping away hands that are too adventurous.
Not prettier than me, I hope.
No, probably not. Probably like a 13. Like, she's pretty, but, you know.
Okay,
Above
good.
average, but not crazy.
There you go, yeah.
So I go up. And he said it was his daughter or something?
Daughter-in-law.
Yeah, daughter-in-law. I believe your father-in-law said you might have some information about events recently.
That could be. What kind of events are we talking about?
We're in town for a short while. We're going to be investigating the disappearance of the delegation from Mirabar to the south.
Ah, they were good customers. Kept their hands to themselves, paid on time. It was a shame to see them go.
But they did leave.
They did leave, but
Headed south.
what was interesting about the whole situation, if you ask me, was that there was someone watching them the entire time.
Oh, really?
Yes, there was. They followed them in. Shortly after they arrived, they stayed the entire time, simply sitting in the corner, hardly eating the food that I brought them, and then they left shortly after the delegation left. And what was strangest is all about them, she puts up her hand to try to interrupt her. She's like, what's strangest is all about them is that they were wearing a golden mask. Couldn't see their face, dressed all in black. Strangest thing I've ever seen.
Golden masks were in town and nobody.
Thought that would be weird.
Guess what would you?
People are free to wear what they want to around here. They were dressed head to toe in black, and they had a mask obscuring their face. Well, most of their face. The mouth was open.
I assume they're not regulars in here.
I've never seen them before in my life.
Did they appear to be small or short like my people, or were they average human size?
They were about the size of your friend here, and she points at Quill.
And you said they headed south following the delegation?
They simply left at the same time. I didn't follow them outside. I had too much work to do in here.
Understandable. Anything else you can tell us, or?
Is that not enough? It's the strangest thing that's happened here in quite some time.
No, I just didn't want to leave any information out. Thank you for your time.
She nods at you and goes back to serving. Her tables.
Well, I suggest we wait for this Benji.
I think that's wise.
Okay.
Just for reference, Quill is 5'8".
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Riven is 6'2". He's rather tall for an elf.
Alright, so you guys gonna stick around until evening time?
Yeah.
Alright, so as evening arrives, the patronage of the inn picks up a bit. It is basically the only game in town, so if you want a hot meal and don't want to cook it at home, this is the place to come to.
Yeah. At some point during the afternoon, I'd ask the proprietor if Benji comes in and speaks to him to let him know I'm looking to talk to him.
Okay. Yeah, so after a while you see a sort of scruffy-looking, brawny human with a thick beard and what appears to be, you know, kind of a double widow's peak walk in, and Nesher walks up to him and whispers something in his ear, and then he turns and looks at you and then stumps towards you on stocky legs. Oops.
I just give him a little wave.
Sorry.
Yeah, I just give him a little wave. So you're Benji.
Who's asking?
My name is Melisandre Moonsong.
That's supposed to mean something to me?
Look him up and down. No. I'm just looking at him till he responds to me.
What do you want? Nesh said you needed something from me.
You drive cattle, correct?
That's... I tend to my livestock. I sell them when I need to. You don't look much like a beef dealer.
I've had my fair share in dealings with beef. In other news, now, I hear from Mr. Floridin that you recently brought your cattle up from the south,
That's the truth.
and I hear you saw something, I believe I quote, frightening on your way.
That
up
doesn't
here.
sound like something I would say.
Well, that's what Mr. Floridin told me.
Floridin's a scared old man. I saw some individuals. Giant birds. Dressed in sky blue armor.
I believe I've caught sight of the ones you're mentioning.
They flew overhead, they circled me a few times, and they headed to the south.
I understand. You didn't happen to notice anything distinguishing other than sky blue armor, I suppose?
Blue armor, white cloaks, giant birds flying in the air. If that's normal where you're from, then no, nothing else unusual.
That's just beginning to scratch at what is normal where I'm from, but never mind. There's nothing else you can tell me, I suppose.
Not much of interest happened. 2 of my cattle died on the way up here. One broke its leg, the other one died from sickness.
Well, thank you for your help. Tell Mr. Floridin that your next drink is on me.
I appreciate that, ma'am. Then he tips his head at you and he walks off.
So, you all heard that. What do you make of it?
Seems that no one knows exactly where they last were seen, so perhaps we should just go explore.
I think heading south down the road is our best bet. If we make it to Summit Hall, we can find out if they arrived there.
Do we know what Summit Hall is?
As far as
Ultimately, sorry, go ahead.
As far as I understand it, Riven, it is a place where warriors gather, paladins, fighters, people of that nature.
That is what the guy said.
Perhaps if they were waylaid by some standard danger on the road, bandits, orcs, that sort of thing, maybe they would try and waylay us as well, and we could find that out. Be walking into their ambush, if you will.
They meaning
Whatever
Whoever-
could have
bird riders?
possibly, whatever could be the reason that the delegation got waylaid. I love that word, waylaid.
We
Waylaid.
knew whether it was these bird riding or whether it's something else.
I would venture that it was the people in the golden masks. They don't
They had something to do with it. Sounds
appear
likely.
outwardly to be the bird riders, but they could have changed.
Speaking of them, I say this in a low tone to prevent others nearby from hearing. Do you think it's possible that there could be any of those, that cult or whatever they might be, lingering in town?
Sounds distinctive unless they change their tactics.
Well, I mean, they might have spies. Probably not likely.
If they do, I don't know how we would root one out. We aren't inquisitors after all.
Although unlikely, perhaps it would be best if we
We're not a people.
stay on our toes at night.
Absolutely. People will have heard that we are investigating. If anybody is somehow involved,
Fair. We'll know about it. Yep.
I'm sure they will make themselves known to us, and if they don't, there's nothing we can do about it. I say we head south on the morning. Keep our eyes posted for any signs of the delegation on the way down to Summit Hall.
That sounds good. And if anything happens tonight, we can evaluate after that.
Exactly.
So I assume that we are sleeping in the inn here, or
Yeah,
are we
2
going to
rooms.
camp outside town?
Mhm.
We did get 2 rooms.
We are staying here tonight.
Alright, you guys figure that stuff out. I'll be right back. I need to use the bathroom and get whiskey. Obviously.
I'm gonna use the
kinda
bathroom
that.
as well.
Alright,
Yeah,
man.
okay, down for the bathroom.
5-minute break.
So, what's going on, guys?
I'm just making up some notes. station. We're just waiting for Byron, I think.
Yep, I'm back.
Okay.
Uncomfortable silences.
It's only uncomfortable if you make them uncomfortable.
Okay.
So what are we doing, guys? The plan: stay here for the night, head out in the morning.